So Melo has been in the news a little bit lately. The idea of the NBA has given up on him, and he could still bring something to a team, and all this kind of stuff. Stuff I've definitely talked about before, but figure why not talk about it again? Maybe there's something new to it that I can't think of at the moment. So anyway, the number one question is, of course, can Carmelo Anthony still play in the NBA? I mean, NBA players would love to think so, former NBA players as well. And I think Melo's talented enough. He can make shots, and I think he could still create his own offense sometimes. It's just, is any of that going to really lead to efficient offense? Probably not. I mean, I feel like if you really let Melo do what he wanted to do at this point in his career, maybe he could give you 17, 18, 19 points a game, but it wouldn't be very efficient. It'd be a whole lot of two-pointers. The offense would not move. It'd be very easy to defend. So then it becomes, well, okay, can he do catch and shoot stuff, and is he content with not having the ball all the time? And that's really the big question, right? So going down Melo's catch and shoot numbers for his career, they're pretty good. I mean, in 2018, he shot 37% on 5 threes a game, 42% on 4 threes a game the year before that. These are catch and shoot shots, of course. Now, it wasn't very good for the Rockets for the 10 games he played. And I don't really fault Houston for letting him go. I mean, could you make an argument that 10 games was not enough? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, there are certainly guys who come into the league or come into a season and it takes them a little while to get there, but given where Houston was and given where Melo was really supposed to be in the rotation and the shot hierarchy and all that, no, I don't think you're really allowed a bad 10 games. So now, am I surprised that he hasn't gotten a workout or something with a different team? I mean, I'm not shocked by it because I think with everything I just said on offense, his defense is a huge question as well. I mean, if he's going to be a liability defensively, which is what he definitely was towards the end of the OKC run, then I can understand it. And I've seen some people on Twitter be like, well, yeah, but don't a lot of the players in the league today not play defense? I mean, number one, I think that's kind of a hyperbolic attempt at crapping on today's NBA. But even, if there's some truth to that, Melo's worse than the average, defender by a pretty decent margin. I mean, OKC was so much better in that round 1 series against the Jazz with Jeremy Grant than they were Carmelo Anthony. That was pretty damn drastic. So really, Melo would have to come into some team and be willing to just not be horrible defensively. On top of that, be a catch and shoot guy and really just be okay with that, because I do think there is a world where Carmelo Anthony could still be a pretty respectable NBA player who can occasionally have a big game and for the most part be a 12 to 15 point scorer depending on the teammates around him and if someone can create shots for him and all that, right? But it does make sense to why teams don't want to see if Melo's willing to do all that, because then you got to devote a roster spot and some amount of salary, unless Melo was willing to go the DeMarcus Cousins route, which is a possibility. I don't know. But another thing is, the only type of team that's really going to benefit from Carmelo Anthony potentially being good in 2020 is basically a title contender, because why would a super young team take him on? I guess there's a case you could make for the Hawks taking him on or whatever, but don't really think anything like that's going to happen. So anyway, if we just look at some of the better teams in the league and think, where can Carmelo Anthony fit into all that? Could Melo fit on the Bucks? Yeah, probably on offense, if we're being honest. But Mike Budenholzer is super stingy when it comes to defense. He's not just okay, we're going to switch everything guy, which is probably the defense that would be best for Melo at this point. I mean, he's going to make you really move, and I don't know if Carmelo Anthony's capable of that at this point. Now, if he was, okay. But I really don't picture Coach Bud being the guy to find that one out. I just think he's just too no BS, which, I mean, I don't really fault him for that mindset. If we look at the 76ers, I think there's way too many bodies for him to end up there at this point. Between Horford's going to be at the 4, Tobias is going to be the 3. I mean, those two right there, like that's the majority of the minutes at the forward positions. Both of those guys are better than Melo at this point. So at that point, yeah, there's still like potential of like Horford at center, Melo at the 4 or the 3 or something. But I don't know. We're doing all this to give Melo, 18 minutes a game? I don't really picture it. The Pacers are all in on the Sabonis at power forward next to Miles Turner thing, and they already have TJ Warren to be that other forward. So to then throw Carmelo in the mix, same thing. How many minutes is he really going to get? Would it even be worth going for that? The Celtics already have Enes Kanter, so I don't think they would then go for the defensive juggernaut of Carmelo Anthony. If we move over to the Western Conference, you look at Denver, they just traded for Jeremy Grant. They already have Paul Millsap. Between Torrey Craig, Michael Porter Jr., Malik Beasley, there's a whole lot of wings already there trying to get minutes. If we go to the Blazers, I mean, that one, I could kind of see the rationale for it because they would just more dudes who can make shots off of Dame and CJ. And Terry Stotts' defensive game plan is really good at hiding guys who are not actually that good on defense. So I guess that one could be a possibility in my brain. Could Carmelo play on the Warriors? Again, offensively, I think so, with all the passing and spacing that they have. And maybe in some crazy world, he could be the placeholder for Iguodala. He definitely would not be the new one, because, obvious reasons. But is there a chance that he could be better than all the other guys they have on the bench that they're hoping can be good? I could actually kind of see it. I mean, who you want to bet on as the Warriors 20-something minute per game wing off the bench? Carmelo Anthony or Alfonso McKinney or whoever else they have there. They are looking for some real players, so that could be something. I guess I could see a world where the Jazz are good enough defensively to hide Melo, but I could also picture them caring about defense so much that they're we don't really want to take this guy on. But Mitchell, Conley, Joe Ingles, 3 guys who can put the ball on the floor and attract some attention from the defense. We can't forget Joe Ingles averages 5 assists a game. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go down every single team or whatever, but I think there are cases you can make that in a perfect world where Carmelo Anthony is respectable on defense and is cool with being an off-ball player who occasionally does something off the dribble if it's a mismatch or whatever else, if he's really got it rolling one night, that he could be still good for a team. But I can also understand teams not really wanting to take him on. I mean, if I was running an NBA team, would I want Carmelo Anthony right now? Gun to my head, no. But if I had a very particular roster where I was just kind of desperate for a wing and Melo wouldn't cost that much money, then perhaps I would roll the dice on it.